Okay, so let's talk about this past week, because it's not very often that Apple manages to catch literally the entire tech world by surprise. But this was something else. We saw this absolute storm of new products just drop, day after day, and it all built up to one final announcement that could seriously reshape the entire laptop market. So today, we're going to unpack one of the biggest, wildest news weeks in Apple's history. Just take a look at how packed this week was, seriously. It all kicked off on Monday with a new iPhone 17e and, get this, M4-equipped iPad Airs, which was a surprise in itself. Then Tuesday came along and just accelerated everything with a full Mac refresh. We're talking the M5 chip bringing huge performance gains, plus 2 new studio displays. But all of that was just the warm-up act for Wednesday. I mean, this was a true product blitz, a scale of release we almost never see from Apple outside of a huge planned-out keynote event. We are talking about 7 major hardware announcements in just 3 days. It was just relentless. So let's just quickly run through the full roster of what Apple dropped on us. You have the iPhone 17e, the M4 iPad Air, a complete top-to-bottom refresh of the MacBook Air and Pro with that brand new M5 Silicon, and not 1, but 2 new studio displays. I mean, they updated almost everything. But that 7th product on the list, the MacBook Neo, well, that's the one that changes the entire game. And there it is. On Wednesday, Apple finally pulled back the curtain on its big surprise, the all-new MacBook Neo. And look, this isn't just another laptop. This is a Mac with a very, very specific mission: to finally bring the macOS experience to millions and millions of new people. And this is the number that just made everyone stop in their tracks: $599. For the first time ever, a brand new Apple laptop starts at a price that puts it right in the ring with the budget PC market. I mean, a week ago, this was completely unthinkable. You know what's really interesting here? The value you're getting. Apple did something totally radical. They put the A18 Pro chip from the iPhone inside this Mac. That is a huge strategic shift, and it completely blurs the lines between their mobile and desktop chips. And you're still getting a beautiful, high-res Liquid Retina display, a battery that lasts all day, and it comes in 4 really fresh, fun new colors. So why call it Neo? Well, according to Apple's marketing director, Colleen Novielli, they picked the name to give it a feeling of youth and energy. They wanted to send a message that this isn't just a cheaper Mac. It's a totally new idea, kind of reimagined from the ground up for a whole new audience.
But you know how this works. To hit a breakthrough price like that, Apple had to make some very specific, very deliberate choices. And that means we need to take a really close look at the philosophy behind this thing, and, of course, the fine print. This is the question on everybody's mind, right? A $600 Mac just seemed impossible. So what's the catch? What did they have to give up? Let's break down exactly how Apple pulled this off. Okay, this is where you can see where the savings come from. The RAM is locked in at 8 gigs, no upgrade path. If you want Touch ID, you gotta spring for the more expensive storage tier. There's no MagSafe charging, the keyboard isn't backlit, and one of the 2 USB-C ports is actually a slower speed. Now, for a power user, yeah, those are pretty big trade-offs. But for the person this is actually for, maybe not so much. So, okay, if it's not for the Pro user, then who is the MacBook Neo actually designed for? Well, the answer lies in a huge market that for Apple has been mostly untapped. You know, this comment from a student, Lamar Taylor, just hits the nail on the head. This machine is for students, it's for families, it's for anyone who needs a solid, really reliable computer for all the everyday stuff. You know, email, web browsing, writing papers, maybe some light creative work. We're not talking about heavy-duty video editing or coding here. And check this out. With education pricing, the Neo drops to just $499. That puts it directly head-to-head with the Mac Mini for students, and it forces this really fascinating choice. Do you go for the all-in-one portability of the Neo, or do you want the raw power, the extra RAM, and more ports that you get with the Mac Mini desktop? It's a tough call. So let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture here. The MacBook Neo isn't just a new product. No way. It's a declaration of a whole new strategy for the Mac. Think about it. For years, the biggest barrier to entry for the Mac has been that $1,000 starting price. It was a huge wall. Well, the MacBook Neo just took a sledgehammer to that wall. For the millions of people who own an iPhone but use a budget PC or a Chromebook, there is now a very, very compelling reason to finally jump into the Mac ecosystem.
I mean, when the choice was between, say, a $400 PC and a $1,000 Mac, the decision was pretty simple for a lot of people. But look at this now. That gap has narrowed a lot. The Mac is suddenly within striking distance, and that makes it a much, much more tempting option. So at the end of the day, when you combine the price, Apple's legendary build quality, and the sheer power of the ecosystem, the MacBook Neo is a direct shot right at the heart of the budget laptop market. It's an incredible value. So the only real question left is this the one that finally takes down the Chromebook? Just how big is this shockwave going to be?
Enjoying the content? Subscribe to AICC for the latest in high-tech innovations.